My name is Rachel Morgan, and I'm 32 years old. 2 weeks ago, my mother showed up at my doorbell for the first time in 8 years. She stood there in a gray blazer with a carry-on suitcase and a folded piece of paper. The paper wasn't an apology. It was a list. Handwritten, black ink, 5 bullet points. Each one had a dollar sign next to it. Total, $680,000. She didn't say she was sorry. She didn't ask about her grandchildren. She said, "We need to talk about the family's future." But here's what she didn't know. I had been keeping a list of my own for 8 years. Every ignored birthday call. Every voicemail she deleted without listening. Every screenshot of my sister's text messages where she talked about me behind my back. 22 items, all dated, all filed in a burgundy binder that I kept in the bottom drawer of my desk. She brought a list of what she wanted. I brought a list of what she did. Let me take you back to the summer. I turned 23. I grew up in a small town in Nebraska. Population 3,000, one high school, one mall, one diner where the same people sat in the same booths every morning at 6 a.m. My father, David, worked at a manufacturing plant for 28 years. Same shift, same routine, same quiet nod when he walked through the door at 5:30 every evening. My mother, Claire, ran the household and volunteered with the church women's group with absolute precision. She organized charity events. She coordinated prayer chains. She decided who brought what to every church potluck, and nobody questioned her. My sister Emma was 3 years younger. She was everything I was. Loud, confident, the girl who got homecoming queen and acted like she'd never even tried. Mom adored her. Dad called her his little star. I was the quiet one, the one who got straight A's and never complained and never got celebrated for either. When I was 18, I got a full scholarship to Northwestern. I was the first Morgan to go to a major university. Mom packed my suitcase and slipped a card inside, handwritten. "Come home soon, you belong here." I kept that card for 14 years. It's the last kind thing she ever wrote me. I met James Park in my economics class. Senior year. He sat in the front row and asked questions that made the professor pause. Thoughtful questions. Questions that meant he was actually listening, not just trying to get an A. He was Korean American. His father was a doctor. His mother was a concert pianist. James was pre-med, brilliant, the kind of person who made you feel smarter just by being around him. We started dating. 3 years. Quiet, steady, unremarkable. We got engaged on a Tuesday at our apartment near campus. I called home that night. My mother picked up on the second ring. I told her I was getting married. The line went silent. 7 seconds, I counted them. "You need to think about what this means for your family, Rachel. Not what makes you happy, what it means for all of us. Not congratulations, not tell me about the ring, a warning." 2 days later, a letter arrived. Not an email. An actual letter from my mother, handwritten on cream-colored stationery. She wrote 4 paragraphs. The last one said, "If you go through with this, you are choosing him over your family. We cannot support this. We will not attend your wedding. And if you walk down that aisle, do not expect to walk back through our door." That was the line. She drew it in blue ink, and she expected me to stand on her side of it. I read that letter 3 times, then I filed it. I didn't know why. Something in me said to keep it. We got married at City Hall on a Saturday in June. 20 people, all James's friends. His mother, Catherine, flew in with a garment bag and homemade dumplings. She pinned a white flower to my dress and held both my hands and said, "Welcome home, sweetheart." My parents didn't come. My father didn't walk me down an aisle that didn't exist. My dress cost $120 from a thrift store. White, simple, perfect. James wore a navy blazer he'd owned for 5 years. We looked like 2 people who had done the most important thing of their lives on a budget because we had. That night, sitting on the edge of our bed, staring at the grocery store flowers, my hands shook. Not from doubt, from grief. I had just gotten married, and the 2 people who raised me didn't care enough to watch. 1 week later, I mailed a card to Nebraska. Inside was our wedding photo. I wrote, "We're happy. I hope you can be happy for us someday." The card came back 11 days later. stamped in red, "Return to sender." I stared at that stamp for a long time. Then I opened a file folder, put the card inside, and wrote in red pen, "Item 2, wedding photo, returned." That was the beginning of the binder. Year 1 was the hardest. I called Mom 4 times, voicemail every time. I left careful messages, short ones, the kind where you choose every word because you know it might be the last one she ever hears. "Hi, Mom, just calling to say hi. James got a job at a hospital. I'm studying for my nursing license. I miss you. Call me back whenever you're ready." She never called back. I sent birthday cards. All 3 came back with the same red stamp. My father sent one text in February, 4 words, "Your mother needs time." That was it, 4 words that sat in my phone like a voicemail I couldn't delete. I printed it, I filed it, item 5. Every returned envelope, every ignored call, every piece of proof that my family had decided I no longer existed, I filed it all. Same process every time. Print, date, red pen, label. The binder got thicker. By year 2, James quit his job, not recklessly. He had a plan. He'd been building an app for 6 months, a mental health platform for college students, something real, something that could help people. I came home from my nursing shifts every evening, heated up leftovers, and sat next to him while he coded until midnight. I handled the finance projections. I wrote the business plan. The app launched that year with 500 downloads. That same year, I upgraded from the file folder to a proper binder. Burgundy, thick, professional. I wasn't building a case. I was just keeping records, the way I kept records at work, the way any organized person does. But I did start numbering the items, start writing the dates, because numbers don't lie. Our twins were born 3 years later, January 15th, Liam and Sophie, 5 pounds each, both with James's eyes and my mouth. James cried. I had never seen him cry before. Catherine flew in the next morning. She stayed 2 weeks. She cooked. She cleaned. She rocked the bobbies at 3 in the morning while I slept. She brought blankets she had crocheted, yellow and white, soft enough to break your heart. That was what a grandmother looked like. I sent my mother the ultrasound photos. Returned. I sent birth announcements. Returned. I sent photos of the twins sleeping. Returned. 3 items added to the binder. Items 12, 13, 14. My sister Emma texted a mutual friend something cruel about my children not having real grandparents on one side of the family. The friend sent me a screenshot. I printed it, I filed it, item 15. By year 5, James's app had 5 million users. Real growth, real money, real success. We bought our first house, a 2-story colonial in a good neighborhood, good schools, a backyard, a kitchen with an island. The silence from Nebraska had become background noise. Like weather, some days I noticed it, most days I didn't. My mother didn't call, but she was watching. My LinkedIn showed someone from Nebraska viewing my profile multiple times a week. A burner account, private browser. My friend texted to say my mother had asked about James's company at church. What was he building? Was he successful? The math was starting to change, and my mother was paying attention. Year 6, James sold the app to a healthcare company for $85 million. We made the news, local headlines, regional coverage. Forbes mentioned him. And suddenly, my mother wanted to know me again. Paige texted for the first time in 6 years. "Hey, how are the kids? Would love to see you sometime." I agreed to meet her at a coffee shop, neutral ground, public. She showed up late, asked 28 questions about our house, our cars, our neighborhood, James's company, never apologized, never mentioned the 8 years of silence. I watched her photograph my car in the parking lot. I watched her take notes on her phone. She was scouting, calculating, building a report. 3 months later, my mother showed up at my door. Beige blazer, black pants, pearl earrings, a carry-on suitcase, a folded piece of paper. She didn't say she missed me. She said, We need to talk about the family's future. She sat at my kitchen table and unfolded her list. She read it aloud. Retirement fund, $350,000. College fund for Emma's son, $150,000. Medical bills, $80,000. Mortgage payoff, $100,000. Monthly support, $2,500. Total, $680,000. Not one word was sorry. Not one word acknowledged that she had disowned me for marrying a man whose race she couldn't accept. When she finished, I stood up and walked to my office. Bottom drawer, behind the tax folders, I pulled out the burgundy binder. I set it on the table, next to her list. 2 documents. Hers, 1 page, 5 bullets, 0 apology. Mine, 22 items, 8 years of proof. She stared at it. What is that? You brought a list, Mom. I brought one too. I didn't raise my voice. I opened the binder and I started reading. Item 1, birthday card. Mailed September 8, 2017. Returned September 19th. Red stamp, returned to sender. Item 2, wedding photo. Mailed June 14, 2018. Returned June 25th. I laid them out one by one. White envelopes, red stamps. 9 years of doors I'd tried to open that she had slammed shut. Item 12, ultrasound photo. Mailed November 2nd, 2020. Returned November 13th. Item 13, birth announcement. Mailed January 18th, 2021. Returned January 31st. I read every single one. Factual, chronological, no emotion, just documents arranged in order. When I finished, I closed the binder and placed it back on the table next to her list. You didn't come here because you missed me, Mom. You came here because the numbers changed. And the moment I give you a check, you'll believe you were right to stay away until it was profitable to come back. I picked up her list. If you want to know your grandchildren, it starts with an apology, a real one, not today, when you're ready to mean it. She took the list, she picked up her suitcase, she walked to the door. She paused, opened her mouth, closed it, walked out. The door clicked shut. My father called a week later. Iris, I should have opened that door for you 8 years ago. I should have picked up the phone. I should have driven to see your twins when they were born. I'm sorry. Not because of the money. I want to know my grandchildren. Will you let me try? I believed him, but belief and trust are different things. We start slow, Dad. Phone calls every 2 weeks. That's all, not yet. He agreed. My mother never called, never texted, never wrote. The silence returned, but this time it was hers. Hear what 8 years of silence taught me. Family isn't the people who share your last name. Family is the people who show up when your world is small, who crochet blankets, who teach your children things, who love you when you have nothing to offer but yourself. That's family. And it was never about the money. It was about showing up. That's my story. 8 years, 22 items, 1 burgundy binder. If this story reminded you that your worth was never about the numbers, share it with someone who needs to hear that today.